11 people, including a pilot and 10 parachutists, were killed when a small plane crashed in the northeastern French town of Tomblaine on Sunday, June 28th, narrowly missing nearby homes as their families watched, officials and a witness said.
After a service call in the town of Nancy-Essey, I was heading back toward Nancy. As I drove along the dual carriageway, I saw the plane climbing into the air, just like that, and suddenly, it veered off to the right. Something was clearly wrong. By the time I reached the roundabout, circled back, and parked near the fire truck, a man was already on the scene trying to put out the flames. He told me he wouldn't be able to extinguish the fire with the single extinguisher he had, so I went to get another one. We tried to keep the plane from catching fire, and that was when we realized what had happened. When we saw it climbing, its nose was really pointed upwards, and then suddenly, silence. With the windows open, since it's so hot, there was no more noise, and all at once it veered off to the right. Because there's an embankment on the other side, by the road, we couldn't see what happened. I didn't see it crash, I just heard the sound. Then came the time to go around, get there, and clear everyone out so the fire wouldn't spread. We saw right away that it was over, that they had all died instantly. There was no movement, and it was clear the impact had been too violent for there to be any survivors. I have seen for myself all the dead bodies are on the ground. Initially, we identified 9 victims. How am I feeling right now? Even more deeply affected, because I've just learned that the mother of an employee, someone I know, was on the plane.
The aircraft, used by a parachuting school and carrying 5 trainee parachutists and 5 instructors, went down shortly after takeoff from Nancy-Essey Airport, officials said. Some of the trainees' family members were at the small regional airport and witnessed the crash, Interior Minister Laurent Nunez told reporters.
Hello, everyone. So I'm going to make a statement, okay? Along with Philippe Tabarat, the Minister of Transport, who was here with me in Tomblaine following the tragic accident that happened this morning at 11 o'clock. I'll quickly go over the facts again, which have already been shared by the Prefect of Meurthe-et-Moselle, whom I would like to thank. Before I go back over the facts, I want to acknowledge the people around me, especially the president of the Greater Nancy metropolitan area, the congresswoman, the congressman, the president of the departmental council, the mayor of Tomblaine, who was also here, and the vice president of the regional council. Also present are the director of the SDI, the director of the police for the department, as well as representatives from the gendarmerie, including the air transport gendarmerie. I also want to mention that the director of the SAMU is here with me, as well as the person who managed the emergency medical psychological unit. I'll come back to that. Of course, I want to acknowledge the excellent coordination that was put in place following this tragedy. So this morning, around 11 o'clock, actually to be precise, at 11 o'clock, we had an aircraft that was preparing to take off, began its takeoff, and then crashed about 300 meters from the runway just as it was about to take off to drop parachutists. There were, yesterday and today, a number of parachute jumps organized by the local club, which were first-time jumps for parachutists. So there were 5 instructors and 5 people taking part in these first jumps, and the pilot of the plane, which crashed. So once again, very shortly after landing, we are here about 300 meters from the end of the runway. The emergency services responded very quickly, especially the firefighters, whom I want to acknowledge. They arrived extremely fast. Unfortunately, as soon as they arrived, whether it was the firefighters or the police, the findings were that the people had passed away. That's it. Sadly, the people had died. This is obviously an extremely serious tragedy. What I want to say here is that, together with Minister Philippe Tabarat, we had lengthy discussions with the elected officials, the police officers, the first responders involved, the firefighters, and the staff from the Nancy Hospital Center. I can tell you that the emotion is palpable and intense, and we completely understand it. And that's why we came here with the minister, to obviously bring support of the government, the support of the nation, ultimately, after this tragedy that has left a mark on everyone, and rightfully so. I should also tell you that on top of the tragedy itself, there was another tragedy. Some of the victims' families were present at the airport since it was a skydiving initiation, and unfortunately, some of them witnessed the aircraft's fall. This obviously adds to the shock and the psychological trauma that results from it. All of these people were able to receive support from the Emergency Medical Psychological Unit that was set up by the Nancy University Hospital and the Meurthe and Moselle SAMU. And everyone was able to receive support, the families, of course, as well as a number of other people involved. So the people involved are those who may have been eyewitnesses or who directly witnessed the accident or who saw the wreckage. So all of these people were able to be supported by the Emergency Medical Psychological Unit. So there you have it. That's what I wanted to tell you. Now, there is an ongoing investigation. There is a judicial investigation. There are observations being made at the site all around the wreckage of the aircraft. This investigation was initially led by the local prosecutor's office, but now it has been handed over to the Paris prosecutor's office, specifically to the Division for Mass Accidents, given the number of victims. 11 people have died, and it has been entrusted to the GTA, that is, the Air Transport Gendarmerie. We have personnel on site, particularly from the GTA's investigative division, who are present and currently conducting examinations under the authority of the Paris prosecutor's office. So it will be the judicial investigations that will shed full light on the causes of this crash. Yes, well, that's it. That's what I can tell you at this time about this tragedy. It truly is a tragedy, and I can honestly tell you that the emotion here is intense. I want to thank all the local officials, especially the mayor of Tomblaine, the president of the Greater Nancy metropolitan area, the president of the departmental council, and all the teams of local officials who mobilized to welcome the families, as well as the first responders, our firefighters, our police officers, our gendarmes, under the best possible conditions to deal with this tragedy as best as possible. And here on the ground with the minister, you can really feel a lot of emotion, a very strong emotion. I want to emphasize that. It really struck both the minister and me, and we completely understand it. At the same time, there's a great sense of solidarity among everyone to support the families in the best way possible. That's what I wanted to say to you.
Media reports said the aircraft was registered in Germany. Germany's foreign ministry did not immediately comment. It was not immediately clear if the extreme heat played a role in the incident, with the highest temperature ever recorded in Nancy, the city near Tomblaine, one day earlier.